the behavior, and the judge acted in a way following that I think he deserves some credit for. He apologized. That doesn't often happen with members of the bench, and the fact that he did so, I think, is a positive sign. He has served long and ably on the court. This is one of those things that unfortunately occurred, and not until this stage of his career, and he's been on the bench for a long time. He's probably now sensitized to this point, and you will probably never see it happen in his courtroom, and perhaps probably in no other courtrooms in Allegheny County.
Oh, yeah, well, people are definitely paying attention. There's no question about that. Chris, on the other hand, you and members of the National Organization for Women are calling for his resignation.
Yes, we believe the judge's conduct was unprofessional, that it interrupted a race discrimination trial to have him go on a tirade about the use of one's birth name or the use of one's married name, and show disrespect for those people who were on trial in their race discrimination case, disrespect for an attorney, and also it showed his lack of knowledge of the law. And in his position, that alone is an unconscionable position to be in. According to the Post-Gazette article, the judge thought if this saw the light of day, that it was the attorney, Barbara Wolfowitz, who would be embarrassed. The fact of the matter was, I think he had that attitude because to him this was business as usual. This is how it is in the court system, and his behavior wasn't extraordinary. I think it's there all the time. So part of what happened is when it did see the light of day, and he saw what it looked like, it was embarrassing to the judge. And I don't think he has any position being on that court as a sexist and I believe racist man.
Tom, you're squirming.
Well, I am squirming a little bit because although I share the concerns that the NOW organization that prompts NOW to ask for the resignation, there are other ways of resolving those issues. The fact that the trial was affected can be resolved through post-trial review. That's an easy matter. You don't have to fire or cause the resignation of a member of the court to take care of that problem. And the other factors that she talks about just don't amount to a demand that the man leave his position or warrant that he leave his position.
Playing devil's advocate here, Chris, I wonder, this was a mistake. Now, if the man has had a fabulous record, as Tom indicates, I have, of course, no knowledge of this, but if he has a wonderful record and has served very well, then we are looking at, in essence, one mistake. And is one mistake then a reason to remove someone from this position?
Excuse me, Tom, did you say his record was fabulous?
This is my assumption. I'm saying this.
No, I don't think his record's fabulous.
Okay, then let's make it if he has been a good judge.
I don't
and
think,
he did say he had served as a good judge.
Well,
is one mistake, in essence, one mistake, a reason to remove
I don't
him?
think it's one mistake. I think it's an attitude about what an arrogant attitude about what he can do in his courtroom, how he can treat women. He threatened this attorney with a jail term if she did not submit to his will. The National Organization for Women receives dozens of calls in a month about unprofessional bosses who harass, intimidate, bully women. We refer those to an arm, the EEOC or the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, and often those cases of discrimination end up in court.
Right.
And here we have a U.S. federal court judge behaving in this fashion. And I just don't think it's acceptable, and I think his resignation is in order, and we're petitioning the Department of Justice to look and investigate his case and his conduct.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Barbara, I'd like your response to all this that is happening as well. When we return, we'll take some phone calls. We'll be back in a moment on Pittsburgh Today. Don't go away.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. The broadcasters of your area, in voluntary cooperation with federal, state, and local authorities, have developed this system to keep you informed in the event of an emergency. If this had been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by official information, news, or instructions. This station serves the Pittsburgh extended operational area. This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
In a large furniture warehouse very near the Century 3 Mall this weekend, $2 million worth of the finest furniture will be offered for sale. This is Colonial Gallery's $2 million warehouse sale, being held for 4 days only. Discriminating furniture buyers will choose prime collections by America's most respected makers at record-breaking 40 to 72% off today's list prices. At Colonial Gallery's warehouse, Regis Avenue, just off Route 51, near the Century 3 Mall, Friday through Monday only.
What's the future of this week's Star Search Stars? Watch this week to see if spokesmodel Krista Daniel retains her third week championship. Will vocal sensation Victor Cook get win number 5? Can dance champs The Boys Club catch their second victory? Will new champs in singing, juniors, and comedy hold their title?
Yeah, I know right off the bat you're thinking, who's this porky Italian kid?
Watch the future stars this week on Star Search 88.
Saturday at 11:30 on KDKA TV2.
Welcome back. We're here with attorney Barbara Wolbowitz. She was told not to use Ms., to use her husband's last name. She refused. Her co-counsel, John Pashinchi, was given 30 days in jail, but it was suspended. We're addressing this question. Barbara, when we left, you said you wanted to respond to what you thought should happen as a result of what happened to you.
Well, I hope that this incident can be used to take a look at the way in which women attorneys are treated in the courts and the way in which women who come before the courts looking for redress for their grievances are treated in the courts. Studies have been set up in, I think, about 16 to 20 states around the country and have examined the way in which women are treated. And there are also programs for sensitizing judges to these issues. And I would hope that a study and an investigation will be conducted as a result of this, because I don't think that this is the only time that women have been treated badly because they're women in the courts, and that training sessions can be implemented so that the judges will begin to understand why this is a problem and hopefully change their behavior in the future.
Well, with us in the audience is Cynthia Chertos, and she's executive director of the Pittsburgh Commission on Women. Are there any case studies to substantiate that women are being picked out in court, and is there anything being done about it?
Well, I think Barbara's point earlier that there have been some that there have been some task forces created in other states, and in each time there have been problems found. I think what Judge Teitelbaum did and what happened in this court is a very explicit and blatant problem, but what's happening is very subtle most of the time, and it's happening in all of the courts. It's happening not only with women attorneys, but women plaintiffs and defendants, women jurors, women employees of the court system have incredible problems with sex bias and treatment. So we're very hopeful that a task force will be created in this situation that will begin to address the kind of change that we need, structural change. After all, the courts is a place where you would expect the most equality to exist. If we can't get fairness anywhere else in society, shouldn't we expect it in the courts of law?
I have just a couple comments and questions that I would address to all of you. First of all, there is a concern, and there has been expressed on this show several times, and I have even expressed as a return to a conservancy that is not necessarily healthy, that we have enabled ourselves to say that 50s mentality that allowed us so much to say, well, women belong at home, and black people shouldn't have this kind of job, and that kind of racism and sexism that was allowed and rampant in that time is in many ways coming back, for whatever reason. I wonder if any of you agree with that, feel that that's a possibility, and also the fact that we bring to every job, every whatever, all our life's experiences. And Judge Teitelbaum, of course, brings those as well. And as a 73-year-old man, a different generation, the values that he has grown up with may indeed be very different than yours or mine today. Is there a place for our understanding and our tolerance, if we tell him no and he apologizes, to move on then from that?
Well, I think part of what I was saying is that I think that we do have to obviously move on from that. And the way in which I think we move on in a positive way is to try to break down those stereotypes, break down that bias, break down that prejudice. I think that you're right. In many areas, I think we see an upsurge. Particularly, I think, in areas of racial discrimination and violence in the city of Pittsburgh. There have been numerous incidents in the last year or two that have arisen. And I think that it's a climate that's been created by the administration, by the Reagan administration, that says that this kind of behavior is acceptable today.
Tom, comment?
Yeah, let's remember, I think, a very important thing. Courts really are designed to reflect society. We're tried by juries of our peers, and they're supposed to reflect the morals and attitudes of the community. And I've always been told, and anthropologists tell us, that the law is basically a cultural lag. There are things happening in society that are on the cutting edge of, if I can use that expression, of progress. It takes a while for that to get into the structure and fabric of the law, because the law tends to follow change, and then to incorporate change and hold it if it's change that fits and works well with society by some invisible hand, perhaps, that walks around and makes these determinations through legislative acts and other kinds of things. And I think the idea of this kind of experience, you deal with it like you deal with what you do in the rest of the community. You learn from it, you move forward from it, just as Barbara said. I don't think you chop out parts of the society or parts of that problem. And I think your sensitivity in your comment about we all reflect the times in which we grew up. And I've been blessed, fortunately, to have a wife and a daughter who keep me on my toes. But not everybody does, and maybe not everybody in my generation shares my feelings. But I think that your point's an excellent one about it.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and Chris, we want to hear from you because I have a feeling you have something to say. We'll be back in a moment on Pittsburgh Today, folks. Don't go away.
I live in this apartment, and over the last few years, a lot of things have happened on this sofa.
You want to make a wish?
Nope. So sit back on your sofa and join us again for Three's Company.
Weeknights at 11:30 on KDKA TV2.
Dinosaurs that move, dinosaurs that roar, dinosaurs are alive, and you can see them at the Carnegie. Hi, I'm John Burnett, and kids, you won't believe your eyes when you come face to face with these life-size dinosaurs. Look these creatures right in the eye at Dinosaurs Alive. Don't miss this amazing display June 19th through September 25th, presented in partnership with KDKA TV2. For ticket information, call the Dinosaur Hotline at 622-6500.
Well, I might not be able to play or win the Masters, but I can play a mean game of putt-putt. And I'm inviting you to come play a round of miniature golf Sunday, July 31st in Monroeville. It all benefits Pittsburgh Hearing, Speech, and Deaf Services. I'll be along there with my trusty putter, and I hope you will come play a round.
The Renaissance Arts Youth Group presents Boundary Line, a play about racism, July 22nd at Uniontown High School. Call 437-3197.
Well, folks, we've been talking here in the studio, and we're, of course, talking about discrimination and talking about the incident that occurred recently in Judge Hubert Teitelbaum's chamber, or not chambers, in the courtroom. Barbara Wolfowitz was very much a part of that. Marion Brookline, what's on your mind?
Hi, I'm a recent law school graduate, and before I went to law school, I had graduated from college in the early 70s and worked in law firms for a number of years as a paralegal. And I think this is kind of an indication of what today's women law students are in for. I think they don't expect to run into any problems. I think they think that a lot of the sexual discrimination has been eliminated, and that's not true. I think there's a lot of ingrained attitudes that are very difficult to change. Sometimes these are deliberate attitudes against women lawyers, sometimes not. And I mean, in Pittsburgh, there's not even a women's division of the Bar Association, and the Bar Association even had an ad on a public service ad where they said, contact our referral service and let us help you get the best man for the job. So I think women law students need to be aware of the fact that there are going to be problems and be able to anticipate them so they can deal with them.
Comments?
I think I might have a right to respond to that. And I appreciate the call, Mary, and you raised two very good points. Let me speak to the public announcement service that KDKA was kind enough to air for us on the Get the Right Man for the Job problem.
We did it, huh?
That was KDKA's doing, not the Bar Association's, and I must credit KDKA for its willingness when it was called to their attention, and after some resistance, they kindly redid the tape and took the offensive word out and made it an appropriate one. And it was for our lawyer referral service, of which we're quite proud and really value the public service part. There was, up until about a year or two ago, a section of the Bar Association that was called the Legal Rights of Women, or Legal Rights of Women section, that for some reason simply went away. And as a matter of fact, I looked to see whether I could refer something to that section and found that it was gone. We are and have been, prior to this incident, developing a committee in our bar to look into improving opportunities for women in the legal profession. It's not a division or section, although there's no reason why we wouldn't have if there was a call for it or we would consider doing it, and that's an issue that this committee will probably address. But I'm happy to say that committee was conceived prior to this incident, and we're probably going to get, as a result of this incident, a tremendous amount of support and activity for that committee.
Okay, right now we have another phone call. Let's go to Geraldine in East Liberty. Geraldine, you're on the air.
Yes. I also went before Judge Teitelbaum in March 1979 for a discrimination case. And it was no reason for me not to win that case, because the plaintiffs, they also said that they had treated me shabby and everything, but I couldn't win the case. I had no money to fight it further. It has disrupted my whole life. And I am so happy that Judge Teitelbaum, I hope that he can, they would make him resign. Because not only me, but so many people have suffered behind his jurisdiction.
Did you see his kind of thing, this kind of thing in his courtroom?
Exactly. I certainly did.
It would seem that every time a case of this nature comes up, anyone else who has been affected in the past certainly has an opportunity to come forward. Has this been the case with Judge Teitelbaum?
We have, our phones have given us some of that information. However, I'm reluctant to share it because it could be biased, it could be non-factual, but we have gotten that kind of feedback.
So potentially we're looking at a man who has been acting this way for a number of years and
I suspect so.
Could have affected cases. I would then believe that, as you say, Tom, you don't think he should be removed or cut out. But if this has been the case, then this man is like a cancer in the court system.
You've made a quantum leap, which you're capable of doing, I know. But the fact is that to make that assumption, we have to look at the record. And if now we'll do that and come up with a case that suggests this man has reasons to be removed, then that's a function of evidence. Right now, we're really going on lots of hearsay kinds of stuff. There are out in the community people who lose cases who are very upset with the process. And they have a right to be upset because the cases meant a lot to them. They become angry with the lawyers who represented them. They become angry with the judge, and as time goes by, it festers. And it's understandable. But I don't think that's enough reason to suggest that there's been a judge who, I know I've been in his room many times. I've tried cases in his room. Other lawyers have. And we all have our complaints and criticisms about every judge before whom we appear because we don't get our way all the time.
The nation might take exception to that, especially when you look at the Dodger executive who lost his job for saying that, black baseball players, didn't have the capacity to be managers, and Jimmy the Greek, who also lost his job after making a public statement about blacks on the national airwaves. So, it seems that people aren't going to stand for that kind of behavior, especially if it runs through a number of years.
But what you have there is private enterprise making a decision of its own. There wasn't a determination made in either of those men's cases, and I'm not justifying what they did either. Whether they should have been discharged or not, if we're going to go through a legal process, is a due process, if I can use the word like that.
Okay. We want to thank all of you for joining us this afternoon. Know that we will be keeping our eye on what happens here. And Barbara, thank you for joining us as well and speaking out, letting people know exactly how you felt about it. John, of course, Chris, and Tom, thank you very much for coming in. Right now, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but before we do, we want to run out to Idlewild Park. I spent some time out there this morning, and my buddy John Burnett is out there. We want to find out what's happening out there for Kids' Sake Day this afternoon. John?
Well, folks, I don't know how ethical the situation back there in the studio is, especially with all those critics sitting around, but I'll tell you, we've got a highly ethical situation here. The the KD Bear, lots of happy people, good food, and Liz Miles. Hey, buddy.
Thanks. We also have fabulous weather. KD's For Kids' Sake Day at Idlewild is perfect. It's not too hot, the sun is shining, and everybody is having fun eating all kinds of things that aren't particularly good for you.
You're eating everything in sight.
Well.
I'm telling you, I'm carrying this around just for her. She's got licorice, 3 pops sitting over there waiting to be tried. You're going to be in the autograph booth in just a moment, right?
Yeah, and we're going to be reading stories over in Storybook Forest to all the kids who have come out with their parents as part of our For Kids' Sake Day.
Great. Exciting day out here, and of course it's all being sponsored by KDKA-TV, the new Giant Eagle, and who else are our sponsors? Thank you.
First Federal, Children's Hospital.
That's right, and they all have booths with activities and games and giveaways going on all day long. Come on out here. One of the things you can do if you come is paint, shall we?
Now this looks like something you would enjoy.
Oh yeah, I don't need an apron for this,
A chance to get messy.
Here, gonna hold that for me? We'll be right back. More Critics Ethics after this, folks. Stay tuned. How about a brush?
Somebody gonna lend this man a syringe?
Yeah, thanks, pal.
Three's Company 2.
Everything will work out fine, trust me. Nuts.
Get cooking with Three's Company, weeknights at 11:30.
The situation is critical.
Oh, I give up, John. That really gets me sick.
Hey, Bob, you're not that bad, really.
Oh, right, John. That's right. When I was swinging, I saw out of the corner of my eye that you were laughing at me.
Hysterically, but not in front of your face. I would never do that.
Sure, John. Remember, if you have an ailment, we have the cure for you, the golf doctor. Send in the symptoms, and we'll make an appointment for you.
Hey, your sickness isn't going to cure itself. Right, Bob?
So you have to go far to find the best. Come over to our house. Kenmore. In 1 out of 2 homes in America, and exclusively at Sears.
Through a child's eyes, a father can look 20 feet tall, even if he's flat on his back.
You can't let him see you've been drinking.
In September, the doors will open to thousands of screaming fans.
And to some very special kids. Thanks to Michael, KD has invited some disadvantaged children from KD country to experience this unforgettable event.
Together with Michael, we're making a difference for kids' sake.
Three's Company, weeknights at 11:30.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh Today. Right now, we're going to play a little game of, what do we call it, Scruples?
Well, Scruples, yeah. We play periodically with people, and we like to find out what's on their minds, and we share it with you.
And we have a number of the critics from the Pittsburgh area with us this afternoon. Marilyn Uricchio from the Post-Gazette film critic, Ron Weiskin, Post-Gazette TV critic, Robert Bianco, Pittsburgh Press radio and TV critic, Ed Blank with the Pittsburgh Press, he's the drama critic. And we have some questions, but right now, welcome them to Pittsburgh Today.
You guys have ever seen this, or if you have ever played the game of Scruples, but that's what we're here to do today, in essence, is we're just going to have fun with you and find out as a critic, you know, the kinds of things that you feel and the way you judge things and the way you determine things. So we need you all just to relax and enjoy, because it's just going to be fun. First of all, though, I do want to find out from each of you very briefly what you think makes a good critic. Okay? Can we start with you, Robert? We'll kind of just shoot down the line.
I sat in the wrong place.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
What a surprise question.
Yeah.
What makes a good critic?
Yeah.
I think pretty much what makes any opinion more persuasive than another, someone who is willing to look at something, think about it, and is able to put those thoughts in some kind of fair, persuasive manner.
Okay. Mary Lynn, what do you think?
I think an open mind is crucial, and also an extremely opinionated personality. I think you'll find that's true of all of us.
A little strong in there, huh?
Yes.
Okay, Ed, how about you? What makes a good critic?
Honesty, candor, clarity, humor when possible.
Okay. And Ron?
Strong opinions, the ability to look at something objectively, and a knowledge of the medium you're writing about.
Okay, there we go.
Now, I have a question. Robert, you kind of brought it to mind, and you said, oh, no, me first, I'm in the wrong chair. Can you be influenced after watching a performance by someone you talk to immediately after, before you write your critique?
Well,
Will you change your opinion after discussing it with them?
My opinions normally are stronger than that, no. But, I mean, I think that all of us, that you are open to the idea that perhaps you missed something, perhaps you were wrong about something, perhaps you didn't understand something, I very seldom do a 180-degree turnaround, but I've talked to people who say, who bring something up and you think, well, maybe that's an angle I missed. I mean, I'm not so closed-minded and convinced of my own opinions that I ignore anyone else.
I think most of us would probably rather not talk with anybody, and certainly each other, after we've seen something and before we write about it. Because we're going to write what we're going to write anyway. And if somebody says something to you you disagree with, it sounds like you're coming out against them when you wind up writing the review. And if you agree with them, it sounds as if you're copying their ideas to express them in print. So we'd just sooner go back without saying anything. And I know Mary Lynn and I are always fleeing from screening rooms while people are saying, what'd you think on the elevator? You know, just try to be as evasive as possible.
We'll talk about anything but the movie.
That's right. There have been
Wasn't
times
it hot
when
in
there
there?
have been 3 of us in the film, and it's like a whole theater, and everybody's in a different place, and everybody scatters. But that's the way you do things. Have you ever felt that if someone came to you much later, you had written something that really hurt them in a way? I mean, you know, maybe they were extra sensitive about something, or they thought their performance was particularly wonderful, and you have said it didn't, and they lost the job because of it, or you know, anything like that. Have you ever retracted, rewritten, or said in print, "I'm real sorry I ruined your life"? You know, Ron?
I don't think I've ever ruined anybody's life. At least I hope I haven't. You know, I think sometimes, I think we've probably all gone back and say, well, later on I see something that I didn't see before, and it may come a different perspective on the film or the TV show or whatever. But I don't think you ever go that far and say, I was totally wrong the first time, and I, you know, said something that this person was terrible and she wasn't. You know, I just don't think that you tend to be that far off base first time out.
Yeah, when you're doing, yeah.
If you've been watching a film, can you be influenced by the fact that you've been wined and dined by whoever put the film out, by the announcer, by the person who's hosting the show? Mary Lynn?
Absolutely not, never.
Never?
But they do try. It's becoming less frequent because the whole question of ethics is, of course, very important when you work for a newspaper. But no, it just doesn't work that way. You still have your opinion, and it takes more than food or whatever to change that. I mean, if you don't have your ethics and you don't have your professionalism, you're not going to be a good critic, and you're not going to have your job, so you don't do that.
Don't let it
What whining? What dying?
Well, they've been getting it. What happened to you?
There you go. You got a minute. We're going to take a quick break. Go back to Idlewild and come back with some critic ethics on Pittsburgh Today. Don't go away. We got some good questions for you, folks. John and Patty?
Pastor Oh, who wrote that?
I don't know. Oh, we're on.
So much fun.
Yes, we are. That's right. Patty, would you like some popcorn?
That's cotton candy,
sorry.
John.
I've
Cotton
had so
candy.
much it's gone to my head. We are joined, of course, by Patty Burns, who is also up here today on our For Kids' Sake Day to
We're
sign
having a ball.
autographs and throw a little baseball and have some fun.
I want to have a chili dog. I'm going to have cotton candy. I'm going to have everything they have in the park. And they've certainly got a selection here at Idlewild.
Now, you don't eat like that all the time. Look at you.
I try not to, but I'm tempted up here, John.
Yeah, oh, it is tempting. It's a wonderful day. We've got great weather. Everybody's coming around saying hi and being friendly, and as they do every year, just as we expected. We'd like to mention once again that this is our For Kids' Sake Day, and the park is open till 9 o'clock. It's all being sponsored by KDKA-TV, First Federal, Children's Hospital, and the new Giant Eagle. And booths are all set up, and things are being given away, and we encourage you to come out. And some of the people from the station will be over in Storybook Forest reading to the kids.
Stories, yes, story breaks. And there's something about summer and amusement parks, John. I mean, they go together. And
That's
the
right.
weather's so beautiful today.
We'll listen to the merry-go-round. You can hear it. It's right over here beside us.
Everybody's having a ball.
You want to go get on one of those horses?
Sure, I'd love to.
Well, let's throw some baseballs
Aren't you
first.
going to win me a prize?
Hey, that's what I'm here for,
All
dear.
right, John.
See that? We'll be right back. More Critics Ethics right after this, folks. Open till 9 o'clock. Come on out. Have some of that cotton candy. Popcorn.
Oh!
Now it's your chance to call in. If you want to question the ethics of these critics, call 333-9363.
The following announcement is for honorably discharged U.S. veterans age 18 to 59. The toll-free number shown on your screen is used to respond to the following. Do not, repeat, do not miss this important information exclusively for veterans. Veterans of all branches of service and spouses of qualified veterans stand by for complete details.
Already over 2 million veterans have called to find out how this card can serve them exclusively. Hi, I'm Roger Staubach. If you're a veteran age 18 to 59, or the spouse or widow of a vet, write down this toll-free number, because one quick phone call can bring you all the facts about a plan that offers you a choice of 10, 20, up to $50,000 in term life benefits. $50,000 for under $10 a month. And since your spouse is also eligible, your total family protection can reach up to $100,000. All this at affordable veterans rates. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call. Operators are ready now to serve you. In a matter of days, an information package will be sent directly to your home. In it, you'll find all you need to apply right away. In fact, you don't even have to take a medical exam. You'll also receive your own Veterans Life card embossed with your name. It's all absolutely free with no obligation. As a veteran, you owe it to yourself to get the facts about this exclusive offer. So call now.
Veterans, call 1-800-847-3300. Call now for your free information package. You will also receive an updated guide to veterans benefits showing what government benefits veterans are entitled to collect. Double bonus also includes information on Veterans Vision Care, an eye care plan that can save you money. Call 1-800-847-3300. The information is free, and so is the call. That's 1-800-847-3300. Call now.
Welcome back, folks, to Pittsburgh Today Critic Ethics this afternoon with our four guests, Robert Bianco, Mary Lynn Uricchio, Ed Blank, and Ron Weiskin. For you guys, have you ever tried to interview someone just because you wanted to meet him or her? And if
Sure.
Yeah. You have?
The opportunity should come up more often.
to do just that? Actually, that makes sense, because I know we have. Around here, we would do that.
Well, going along the same lines, if you're interviewing someone you wanted to meet, then is your mind made up that you're going to do a good review, a good interview? Give them.
Because sometimes they work out badly, even if it's somebody you've admired for a long time. I mean, Pearl Bailey is one of the toughest I've ever done, and I've known her since I was this big. But
and I just interviewed Robert De Niro, who I always wanted to meet, and he was a terrible interview. He was really terrible. But,
so did you slam him?
No, I just represented him the way he was, and he's not very articulate, and you know, he doesn't want to talk about anything, but it was still a pleasure to meet him.
One of the most tempting things in the world, devices, is power, okay? Critic can give a bad review of a play in New York. It can close that week. If you've got that power, have you ever used it just to see if it worked?
I don't, speaking for Robert and I as TV critics, I don't think we have that power. No.
Well, to affect the ratings in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you do.
You do have that power.
Okay. Well, thanks for telling us about that. Yeah, in terms of something like, a national TV show or something like that, I don't think either one of us has the power to knock that show off the air with one bad review. I tend to think often the critic's power is can be more powerful in keeping a show on the air that might be in danger of cancellation than in knocking a bad show off.
I don't think even in Pittsburgh that we have that kind of power, because television is free. And you can switch 2 minutes into something I've told you to watch, you can switch away. But to the extent that I think I have any power, it probably makes me pull back more than it would make me exercise it for the fun of it. I mean, I think you're more careful because you might have power.
Closing performances here in town?
The only critic in the country who has all kinds of power is whoever happens to be the theater critic of the New York Times. And him against all of the others can still mean something, but otherwise in movies, theater, it doesn't seem to make any difference.
With movie critics, I think it's a collective power. In other words, if a lot of critics across the country really pan a movie, that can do something. But if it's one or two in a few cities, I think it's negligible.
Okay. And even then, if it's not a police academy or something like that.
Yeah. Then you can go with that. Okay, do you gear your reviews strictly to the Pittsburgh audience? I mean, would you write the same things, same opinions in a New York paper or a Dallas paper in the same ways?
I don't think I would. I don't gear my opinion to what I think Pittsburgh people's opinion would be.
Do you say
I think I write differently for Pittsburgh people than I would for other people, in part because, I mean, I'm a Pittsburgh area person myself.
Smarter.
I mean, well, no, I mean, you have a shared sense of humor, and there's shared references you can make that I wouldn't make in other cities. But no, I don't change my opinion for for what I think Pittsburgh wants.
Mary Lynn, do you?
I would agree with that, and I think too that there are different reference points, especially with movies. There are a lot of movies that might not play in Pittsburgh. If I were writing for a New York paper, I would have different things to refer to, and here I keep it local as much as I can.
Okay. Speaking of that public here in town, Bill in Mount Lebanon, you're on the air.
Well, I had a couple questions, one question and a couple comments. First of all, Marilyn, I really enjoy your reviews in the Post-Gazette, both yours and George's. My question, however, was dealing with pornography, not so much hardcore, but softcore, and your views on, not so much Marilyn's, but all four of you, your views on that and where you think that's heading. And I was curious if Robert could also explain how he got into this field, what his qualifications were. I know that at one time he was a lawyer, but
Isn't that enough?
Well, no offense. It just it seemed that every time I read his article, there's always one or two things that are just wrong.
Well, okay, Robert, you can address that one.
Well, I will do better and try to be right from now on. I mean, I think that the smart aleck remark, but which is basically the truth, is my qualifications are that the people in charge at the press who judge qualifications judge me to be qualified. I mean, in the end, I work for the press, and that's who I write for. I mean, if you don't mind, I don't want to defend myself any more than that.
Okay, I'm not sure what Bill's point about the pornography was. I mean, is it going to get worse or is it going to get better? It's hard to say.
I mean,
it's here.
Do you have an opinion on it?
Yeah. You see more?
I think we see a lot more nudity, but I also think we see less now than we did maybe even 10 years ago. Less graphic, more of it. Quantity, let's say, more in terms of quantity, less in terms of quality. I think people are much more accustomed to it. I think that it's happening in films for younger audiences. I mean, an R rating really means nothing anymore. And it's just become a part of our life. We're less shocked by it. And it can spice up a few movies.
I think we're seeing less promiscuity during the AIDS era. I think just generally since about 1983, fewer characters are having fewer affairs on screen, which is not to say the two leads aren't, but you're not seeing promiscuity on both sides as we used to.
Well, we want to thank all four of you for joining us today in an unusual day, because we keep going back and forth to Idlewild Park and checking things out. But it's nice to have, first of all, for people to have faces with the bylines, and it's good to have you with us on the show. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
See you at the movies. We'll watch you on TV. We'll be back in a moment on Pittsburgh Today, folks. We went out to Idlewild real quick. We'll take a commercial, then we'll go on. We'll be right back. Can modern science keep a severed head alive? And if so, why? We'll find out Monday on Pittsburgh Today.
The Super Bowl, another highlight film for the rematch. The dominating Steelers of the 70s give the Cowboys a second chance. Meet some of the heroes of yesteryear live on Pittsburgh Today.
Mary, I'm so sorry. John was so loved.
John took care of everything. He did it with the Guardian Plan program.
Makes you think. Advanced funeral planning makes a lot of sense.
Yes, I remember John saying something about it.
He took care of all the details so Mary wouldn't be burdened.
Mm-hmm. The Guardian Plan program.
I have one. Decided on everything in advance, even price.
My Walter talked about getting one, but he never did.
Mom.
Your father was a wonderful, loving man.
I know.
Call 1-800-9-CARING for your copy of our booklet. It's yours free from the Guardian Plan for Pennsylvania. The Guardian Plan for Pennsylvania is endorsed by participating members of the Pennsylvania Funeral Directors Association.
Get your free guide to fun in the City Parks Summer Guide. Available now at area thrift drugstores, City Parks recreation centers, and senior citizen centers.
Over here they say Brigitte. In America it's Bridget. In Denmark it's Brigitte.
She's tall. She's beautiful. She goes through men like wet Kleenex. Friday, we'll visit with Bridget Nielsen and her latest beau, New York Jet Mark Gastineau. Don't miss Evening Magazine Friday.
Everyone relates to Oprah.
I saw her cry on one of the shows. She was interviewing a Vietnam veteran who left a baby behind. He started to cry. She teared up.
I think people feel comfortable with her. I think that she's kind of like a girl next door.
Her personality, it sparkles.
I really respect her honesty and her candor.
She's with it. She knows what's going on.
I think she's a very attractive person, inside and out.
There's only one Oprah. Weekdays at 5 on KDKA TV2.
A Butler County group takes a building down to the ground. Right now, let's go to Ray Tannehill in the newsroom to find out more. Ray?
Right you are, Lynn, and good afternoon, everybody. It was a Butler County decency group that today demolished a building from which it had ejected an adult bookstore. That store, located on Route 8 in Penn Township, was shut down last week by a federal court order. The Butler County Citizens for Decency bought that building 3 years ago and finally succeeded in evicting the store operators. The decency group says it will now take its decency campaign statewide. In conjunction with Pennsylvanians versus Pornography, the group will seek to shut down more adult bookstores throughout the state. The Coast Guard is reporting today that 2 oil spills on the Mon River are certainly not threatening the water supply. Yesterday, nearly 100 gallons of oil seeped from a home heating tank in Elizabeth, and closer to Pittsburgh today, the Coast Guard says 20 to 30 gallons of oil apparently leaked from the LTV plant. Booms are on the river to contain the spill, but a 4-mile sheen stretches upriver from Point State Park. The city's hazardous materials team and the Coast Guard inspected the spill this morning and labeled it minor.
It's hard to estimate. I wouldn't say 20, 30 gallons at the very most. And it's hard to tell because it's a sheen and it's not thick. It's just a rainbow.
Nonetheless, some wildlife is suffering due to that spill. A variety of waterfowl has had the feathers coated with oil. Over in Warren, Ohio today, a woman charged with murdering and decapitating her husband says she was a victim of domestic abuse. 29-year-old Marie Poling says Richard Poling was a drug user who often abused her. Her husband's body was found along Interstate 79 in Washington County back in January. In opening arguments, the defense claimed Poling also was violent to the couple's 3 children. Marie Poling's alleged lover, 24-year-old Rafael Garcia, has pleaded guilty to charges related to that murder, and he is expected to testify against Mrs. Poling. Over in Harrisburg, Commonwealth Court has ordered the Chambers Development Company to cut back on the amount of garbage it dumps at its landfills. Last year, residents in Chartiers Township, Washington County, objected to Chambers dumping garbage from New Jersey at the Arden landfill. Chambers is currently accepting about 2,000 tons of garbage a day at the Arden site. The State Department of Environmental Resources has ordered Chambers to limit dumping to about 875 tons per day at each of its sites in Pennsylvania. Now, the weather forecast from the KDKA Weather Center. This afternoon, we can expect variable skies and a slight chance of showers. This afternoon's high will be near 80. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, variable cloudy skies again, a slight chance of showers. The high will be near 80. Then on Sunday, we will see partly cloudy skies and seasonable. The high on Sunday will be in the low 80s. Those are the latest news headlines. We'll, of course, have details behind those headlines and all the late-breaking news coming up on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock this evening. From all of us here at Eyewitness News, good afternoon.
Now let's take you out to Idlewild as fast as possible.
We're just going to be on TV.
Okay, Patrice and Lynn, we are out here getting ready to wrap things up at Idlewild Park. It's for Kids' Sakes Day, and guess who just showed up? My kids. This is Sammy and Eric, and we're having a great time. We're going on the roller coaster, guys?
No, not me.
Why not?
Because I don't like it.
You don't like it. All right, in that case, I'll give you the cotton candy and the microphone, and I'll go with Craig. Here you go, bub.
I'll see you in a minute. You take the microphone. Like father, like daughter. We've had a great time out here. This is Craig. I'll ride with you, buddy. How's that? Okay. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Sammy, don't eat all that cotton candy now. You hear me?
Have a good time, John. Folks, we hope you get out there for Kids' Sake Day. We look forward to seeing you right here on Monday's Pittsburgh Today when we have John Burnett back in the studio and Lynn Swan's a guest. We'll look forward to visiting with him. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.
It's a pirate celebration. Join the parrot and some of your favorite pirates when they take to the seas. Set sail aboard the luxurious New Amsterdam for the Western Caribbean, Cozumel, Ocho Rios, and the Grand Cayman from January 21st to the 27th. And the parrot is excited to hear that there's a special discount for early birds. Catch the best of the sun, sand, and sea as you find yourself surrounded by pirates.
Nancy knows her frozen dinner will taste perfect because she cooks an Armour Dinner Classics with the new micro-ready indicator, while across town, Frank cooks another brand and guesses.
Guess it's not undercooked. I guess it's not overcooked. I guess it's done. Oh, guess I guessed wrong.
Yes, Frank should have bought Armour like Nancy, because Armour's indicator turned blue telling her dinner's cooked.
Perfect.
Armour Dinner Classics cooks perfect so it tastes perfect.
You're warmly invited to an exclusive tour of Monaco's Royal Palace with Prince Rainier on our next glittering edition. Prince Albert, the heir apparent, reveals the future plans. Skiing is believing. All the stars hit the slopes. The humble, mild-mannered clerk who overnight became a titled English Earl. Plus, Bruce Boxleitner, Jane Seymour, Diana Cano.